So the NBA has came out and said that they are postponing the season and playoffs for at least a month. But in reality, I feel like this is going to be a thing that drags out for, none of us really know, but I would say 3 to 4 months maybe. And that's obviously a complete shot in the dark. Nobody really knows. That's why this virus and all the leagues shutting down is such an interesting situation, because it's uncharted territory. This has never really happened before. But with all of this happening, I want to talk about some of the long-term effects I feel like all of this time off will have on the NBA. One thing that I think is very obvious is that this is all going to affect the timing in which the NBA season is being played, at least for end of this year and the start of next season. Because realistically, obviously, the NBA isn't going to want to take a very long time for all this to clear up, but they're not going to take any shortcuts. The last thing the NBA wants to do is potentially lose money in a lawsuit if someone gets sick or anything like that. Would be really bad for them. So there's about 15 to 20 games left for every NBA team so far in the regular season. So if potentially they postpone the league until around June, which would be 3-4 months from now, that means you're finishing the rest of those games in June, maybe run into early July, and then have your playoffs in August, and then run from August to early September. And normally the NBA season starts mid-October. So now there's about 1 month until the next regular season would start. So I'm assuming the NBA would postpone the start of next season until a later date. But then at that point, that's the new intervals for when the season starts. So what I think they could do is shorten next year's season to about 50 games. Let this year finish in August, September. Let the players rest for 3 months. Start in December, and then let's just have a 50-game season, and we'll have that like we did in the lockout back in the day. I think that's a valid solution, but obviously it's up to Adam Silver and whatever they decide to do. Another thing that the virus is affecting directly is for players and their injuries. Because you look at teams like Portland with all their injuries, Philadelphia with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and one team that really interests me is the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously this is a long shot, but could you imagine if the league got suspended till like December? Because at that point you're talking about a Brooklyn Nets team with a healthy Kevin Durant at that point, a healthy Kyrie Irving, and all the other complementary pieces that they already have. If they get 15 games to figure it all out between Kyrie and KD and Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan, who the hell's going to want to play them as a potential 7 or 8? The Nets have a ton of complementary players like Joe Harris, LeVert's a beast. You put Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Spencer Dinwiddie, nice centers. I think that team beats the Celtics and the Raptors in the first round. But obviously this all hinges on how long the break really is, so I'm going to move on to my last thing, which is the salary. The NBA salary was projected to go down before the virus, so imagine all these free agents that think they're about to get a huge bag, but in reality the cap's going to drop, and now with the virus out too, it's probably going to drop even more. And with all the uncertainty on when the league's going to start up again, I'd be really concerned if I was an upcoming free agent. These guys are going to get paid millions regardless, but it's something to think about. I'm just with everybody else and hoping that we find a quick vaccine to get things back, but don't be surprised if it takes months. But that's all I got, so I'll catch y'all.